What's up, everyone? It is Noiz.I here with another episode of Noiz.I Talks with Friends. If you are new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. On our way to 1,000 subs today, we have a very special guest. Last episode was his wife. So today we have her husband, Mr. Thomas! Woo, 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 woo!
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, come on. Give me a little more energy, Thomas. No, but this is, I call him my uncle brother-in-law, just because I think he's such a fantastic person, and him being married into the family, it's been a very long journey with Tanisha and who she is as a person, and to have someone who matches her, who understands her, who loves her.
It's nothing but love.
Is an amazing thing to have in our life. So today, Thomas, it is a blessing for you to be here, man. Give a little background of who you are, what you do, you know.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Thomas. I've been married to Tanisha for about 3 years. I've been knowing this family for about 5, I think. I met you a little ways back, a couple years ago, and that's it. I guess I give you guys more as time goes on.
For sure. So before we get to the conversation, like, comment, subscribe. We're on our way to 1K people, so please like, comment, subscribe. For those of you who don't usually tune into the episodes, we do 6 questions where the interviewee has no idea what the questions are. So
I have no idea what to expect.
Well, this is a good thing because this gives me a chance to really get to know who you are. And that's something I've really wanted to do recently, is just build relationships within the family, but you specifically because you're married in the family. So are you ready, Mr. Tom?
I think so.
Okay, we're going to start out with question number 1.
All right.
From what I know, you are an only child, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have a half sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that experience on how you were brought up as an only child. And on that same note, because you didn't have any siblings, how hard has it been not being able to reach out to people who aren't just your friends? So it's like a 3-parter. So do you want to go from? Okay,
let's go with the first part.
Yes, sir. So the first question is, because you're an only child, can you explain your experience on how you were brought up?
Yeah. So
like your upbringing.
For me, I don't know. I actually had a really good childhood coming up.
Yeah.
I grew up in a nice neighborhood. I loved being outside. Had a big backyard. Out playing in the woods nonstop, and it was a good childhood, I think.
Yeah, and do you feel like there was a lot of? I mean, you probably did have a good childhood, but because you're an only child, and do you feel like it was very hard for you to kind of communicate as an only child? Because with me and my sister, it's easy because we're brother and sister. But with you growing up by yourself per se, do you think it was kind of tough for you to talk to your parents about something that they might not understand, or how was that for you?
So I think I'm really good at opening up to people right off the rip.
Even at an early age?
Not at
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
early. So for me, I never really experienced people. So
wow, okay.
I was kind of big on just kind of being myself anyway. So I was kind of, I guess I would say I was slow to. I pay attention to a lot of people. I pay attention to everything people are doing or whatever. But so I was kind of a closed-off kid actually from the beginning because, like I said, being only child, I kind of spent a lot of time in my bedroom playing and doing my own thing. And I had a lot of animals though. So I had cats, and I had a bunch of turtles and pets and stuff like that. So for me, those were my friends. So I was more into nature and stuff as a kid. So I spent a lot of time just doing that, playing and that kind of thing.
And then because for me, it was very easy to express my thoughts and who I am to my sister. So because you had pets and animals, when it came to human interaction, how was that? And I'm not, so the way I'm asking makes you sound like an alien, which you're not an alien. But basically just saying when it came to real life people, like how was that dynamic for you? Because you are in a sense alone. So like when it came to you making friends at an early age or whatever, like how was that for you?
It was slow for me because at the beginning, I would always have like one best friend, and I would be like friends with that person forever, and then they'd move away or something like that. So I was kind of like the kid that didn't branch out too much and meet a bunch of different people. It was just me and like one person was always my friend, and then over time it kind of grew a little bit, or I meet somebody that was friends with other people. So I was kind of the person that became friends with one person, and then like got involved in bigger groups and stuff like that. So
yeah. And then like did you grow up in a 2-parent household or one? Okay. Yeah. So mother, father?
Mom was the main parent.
Okay. Yeah. So like so like even with that, like really understanding how to be a man through a woman, is that something that you kind of struggle with at an early age as well, or
so I did have a grandfather and a couple of the men in my life too, so I was actually really blessed to have like a lot of dynamics between my mom teaching me some things about how she thought a man should be and then doing her best, but I had like my uncle, my grandfather, and other uncles and cousins and things like that. So I think I had a pretty good background as far as people helping out.
People you look up to.
It takes a village for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It takes
a whole village.
It really does.
Yeah,
do you think that, or do you wish that you had siblings? Like I know that you said that you had you had a half sister.
Yeah.
Do you wish that you had like a brother or a sister that that you grew up with, and like do you think that would change who you are today? I mean, obviously, like you might be the same person, but because you're able to share the same experiences with someone on a day-to-day basis, do you feel like that would change who you are today? And do you wish that you had a sibling?
So I wouldn't want to go back and change anything, just because of like you just never know what things will turn out to be and that kind of thing. But I always wanted another sibling, like somebody like in my life on a day-to-day basis. I think before I was like 18 years old, I only met my sister like 4 or 5 times. And before that, and after, like later on, we kind of got bigger and more kind of involved with each other. But it was kind of like sparse with my sister. Yeah,
for sure. And then kind of like growing, being married into a family, a big family on our side. Now you have four males. They're all brothers now. Now they're able to call you brothers. How is that dynamic between you guys, or have you built relationships? It's
new for me, so I'm not even like gonna lie, honestly. Like it's been a shift for me, realizing I have a whole nother half of family that just
right.
This is a whole different thing. So but you guys are awesome. Like I love how warm you guys are, and the family functions are always nice. You guys always send me and Tanisha in the kitchen. So
they can cook their butts off.
I love doing stuff for family, and I just love being around you guys because it's interactive. It's a lot more interactive than my family is, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, that was kind of question number one. Question number two. Now that you're married. What are areas of your life that you feel you had to grow and mature in for you to be the best that you can be for your wife?
I think I had to learn to listen more. For me, being an only child and kind of focusing on myself, I feel like I have the answers in myself most of the time. But when it comes to being with another person, you kind of have to listen more and understand where certain things are coming from. Sometimes it can be moods and personalities that kind of collide in different ways. So I try to listen more as opposed to just being like, I got the answer, Yeah, I'm pretty quick on answering things. Slow down on that a little bit,
Yeah, and I also feel like that kind of comes with like, I wouldn't say conceited. Maybe is it conceited? Would you consider it conceited?
See, I would always tell myself I wasn't conceited. My friends would say, "You're conceited, bro." You're really like confident. I'm like, no, not like in my head. I don't think I am, but other people will be like, "Yeah, you like really like confident." I'm like, I don't know.
No, yeah, I think in some areas I feel like we all have to get to a place, especially when it comes to relationships. Because I call it like a healthy compromise, because I feel like compromise can be used in so many different ways. But a healthy compromise is understanding both sides. Compromising is just settling. That's what I feel like it is. So for you to now listen and understand your wife, do you feel like you had to let go some of your past I don't know, mistakes or
that's an everyday thing, man.
Yeah. Like
it's
is
not
that,
even like a past tense like has,
okay,
but it's like we're still doing it. Like our marriage is still like we're on our 3rd year now, and it's a constant. Just people change every day, so you gotta meet the person where they are at that time, as opposed to like looking at them like from past like lenses and stuff. You know?
Yeah, and like you also see them grow day by day. Like this isn't just like, oh, we're together, I see her grow this year, she likes, no, you see that person grow day by day. Yeah. So is that something that you're obviously still getting used to, or like, you know, where do you feel like how do I want to ask that question? Like, where do you
like how do I gauge or something like that?
Yes, yeah.
I feel like there are milestones for sure. Like there are things that like we had as problems in the past that were like really big at one point, and we kind of like squashed that a little bit, and then we kind of moved past that and we focus on the next thing, you know. So there's a back catalog of all the things that we kind of worked through, you know, to let you know that there's some progress, but it's a never ending thing, you know.
Yeah, and then like for you to listen and understand, that's a part of your growing. What other areas do you feel like you had to grow in for you to, you know, be the husband?
Yeah. So for
and
me,
a father, by the way. Yeah.
I would say flexibility too. I was so used to doing things on my own that I kind of got more stagnant, I say.
Yeah.
A little bit kind of like just doing things my way, and I had to get more comfortable in working things in different ways, and me and Tanisha we have to be like a better team. So
yeah, because like your wife, she does come from more of a caretaker type of person, and because you are your upbringing was more alone, is that something that kind of changed in your character? Was like you kind of had to adapt? I mean, obviously you had to adapt because you're married, but was that like a big adjustment for you because she's such a caretaker? Like, was that hard for you to kind of not tag along?
So we're
with,
like
but
different kinds of caretakers.
Okay,
you know. So for me, I was the oldest boy in my family, so I always was cutting the rice grass, cutting down trees, digging holes. So for me, my love language is like giving acts of service, doing things. Somebody needs help doing something, I'm there to help out. And that's what I like to do. And then for her, she's a very passionate person. So everything she does is super thoughtful, and like it's very catered to a specific person. And for me, it's just like, if you need me, I'm always that person, just like that clutch friend, you know?
Yeah, and that's something I really admired about you and Tanisha. Like, no matter what the situation is or who the person is, you guys are always wanting to go out your way to take care of people. And I think it comes from such a pure place in your heart, because it's like, you know, we're taught as a society to kind of be independent. In some cases, like, we don't really teach family culture anymore. Yeah. And I feel like that's what's really dangerous about today, is that, you know, people say, you don't need anyone. You can do it by yourself. All you gotta do is blah, 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 blah. But when it gets to that point where you have to overcome a hurdle or a situation in your life, you can't just do it by yourself. You have to have someone who pushes you, like you said.
That's like one of the biggest lies.
Come on.
Everybody's
really
thinking like, be so independent and stuff, and you got the, you know, the Neo songs.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you really can't do it by yourself, and you really need to build yourself up for sure, so you can be like a valuable asset to a person, but definitely you can't do it on your own. It's impossible.
And like that may go into a different question, so I don't want to.
Am I jumping ahead?
No, I think I'm jumping ahead. That's what I'm trying to make sure. I want to double check. Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna change topics real quick, just because I don't want to. Yeah, okay. Going into question number 3. Considering you had a positive father figure in your life, what qualities do you think a man needs for him to be able to put himself in position to provide and take care of a family? Because you do such a wonderful job, from what I see, as being a husband and a father. So what qualities do you think a man needs to be able to provide and take care of a family?
Well, it kind of goes back to my first answer, was just listening. You know, like, you can't just I think, like, for example, my father and my mother aren't together anymore. So the biggest thing he told me was, when he jumped into the position of being a dad, he wanted to be a provider, and that's all he wanted to do, was be a provider. But he didn't know that my mother was going through postpartum, you know. So for him, he thought he was doing what he needed to do to provide for her, and it wasn't what she needed at all. You know, the relationship wasn't working well. So for me, it's kind of gleaming information from other people and trying not to make the same mistakes that people make, and then kind of applying that to my real life, you know.
And then like because you said that you had you had certain figures in your life, as in like your mom. I remember you mentioned your grandfather. What qualities that did they pass down to you for you to become your own person, your own man?
Hard work. My mom was, like I said, being the only boy in the family, well, the oldest boy in the family. I was expected to do a lot of the chores and working and stuff like that, but she always told me like the hardest thing you can do in this world is be a black man, you know. So my goal in life was always just to try and make her proud. And then for my grandfather, he was just he never owned any power tools. But he always figured out how to fix something.
Right.
You know he always bring something up and make it work. So he just kind of instilled that flexibility on me. Just kind of like look at things and say, you know what, you could fix that with a Q-tip. You know what I'm saying? Like he would do something weird like that, and he just kind of showed me that you didn't have to always do things in the most conventional way to get them done. You know, and you can be creative and you can think about things in different ways and not have to have all the stuff that you need to do it the right way. Not the right way, but the standard way.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I've am challenging myself more, especially with like, you know, doing this video podcast, is really understanding like I don't need all the high end. I don't need blah 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 blah. If I have what I have, just use it and use it to the best of your ability.
You can make a microphone with a spatula.
You see it, people. You see it, people. But just like just really understanding like, you know, going that extra mile of just using what you have and understanding that you can still make good quality, because especially into you know, today's age, like we have the phone does so many great things with video editing, with picture taking, with audio recording, with social marketing. So it's like your phone can do so many things, right? Like you don't need to go outside and figure out, you know, pay for this, pay for that. Like your phone could do a lot. It's just about
business on your phone.
Yeah.
You know,
you could do anything you want on your phone. Yeah,
you ain't got nothing.
Just bro, wake up
and start doing some stuff.
Exactly,
you can really make it work. So,
and I think
the creativity.
Yes, I think people have to find that with the support and everything else that they have.
Yeah, and everything that's yours has value too. So you have to
jeez, oh my
people
gosh,
get so caught up in like looking at other things that they don't have and don't realize how valuable the things they have are. That sentence didn't make any sense.
No, it did. Because like I think something for me personally that I think I saw value in other families who had support for the child who wanted to do something. For example, like, you know, our family is so artsy and musicians and all that stuff, and like but like at the times where like I wanted to do sports or whatever, I felt like, you know, sometimes they weren't really there, and that kind of hurt my feelings, because it's like you see
want to branch out something different.
Yes, like you see that I have a love or whatever to do something. Like, why is there no support behind that?
You want to keep the same energy in different fields. And
yes, and like I feel like that was very hard for me growing up. Do you feel like you loved something to do that you didn't have that you had the lack of support from like your family members? Like, do you feel like you ever had that in your life?
Yeah, but I wouldn't blame them for it though either. Like, my family came from like Arkansas, so they're very limited and just like they weren't like a lot of
resources and all that stuff.
Stuff like that. So they had a very limited understanding of like how you can be successful. So for me, there were a lot of avenues that when I got to a certain age that I thought like, I wonder how that would be. But I didn't have any experience with it. So, you know, and for me not having that network of people I can pull from and say, hey, you know, if you want to do this, I know somebody that can help you out with that to make it a little bit easier for you. So everything seemed like a big project for me when I was a kid, because I was like, oh man, like if I want to do this, I got to pull all of it together and make it work, you know? So
yeah, that definitely makes sense. So we're going into question number 4. So this question is more personal, because I just wanted to know it about you.
Okay.
What is your actual passion in life? What do you want to do? What actually interests you? And like, I'm not saying that because I think you as this bland person, because you're not, but I've never been able to hear what you like.
I like everything.
I mean, explain, like, so, you know, be a nerd for a second, you know, whatever.
Yeah. So for me, I'm really into just, I I like crafting. I like making things, building things. So I'm always pulling myself into something interesting, to me at least. So I like carpentry. I like building things. I like building paludariums, which is like a aquarium that's like a part land, part water kind of deal. Yeah. Working out.
Yeah. Where did you find your love with all that stuff? Because like those are things that I've not,
they're not connected at all.
Yeah, they're not connected. I'm like in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe you can
smattering of like just sprinkle a little bit of this over here, a little bit over there.
Yeah.
For me, it's just I don't know. I think because I pay attention to so many other people and what they like to do, I kind of pull just little things from that, and then I say, I can see that working with me, So yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, and I keep a lot of things in my back pocket.
Yeah, for sure. And like, so like you said that you get it from other people. So what people did you look at, or friends or whatever? Who did you look at to really grab from that stuff from, and kind of apply it to what you love to do?
Like I said, my grandfather was really big just figuring out things. So for me, the more complex something is, the more I'm interested in it. So I would say stuff like that. And then
because you're so multifaceted, like how are you able to either make time for all of it, or how are you able to balance all that stuff? Because like I know with me,
I'm terrible with time.
You're terrible with time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm terrible with time.
Just straight out the gate, terrible. Okay.
Terrible with time, man. Yeah. So for me, it's just whenever I can get to it, I get to it. If I find something that I enjoy, I'll make time for it. But
is it hard for you to schedule, or do you hate scheduling? Like, are you against a routine?
So I plan things out I'm a long-term thinker. So I plan things out like way in advance. So like I got my whole house planned out, how I'm gonna get it together and stuff. So I'm like building the deck, doing the bathroom, I'm gonna go upstairs, do this and that, and then I'm gonna find time to go fishing.
Right.
So for me, it's just making it work.
And then what are you doing to practice your time management? Like, because you said that you're terrible with time, but do you ever see yourself in the future or whatever you being able to practice time management?
I'm definitely trying it all the time. If you got any tips, let me know.
Honestly,
my wife is very punctual, so I try my best to like keep her happy and try not to be late all the time. My goal is just really planning ahead first. I'm bad at short-term planning. So when it gets down to like that last couple hours before I have to do something, that's when I end up late. I like to savor everything in life. I feel like life is too short to be rushing through everything. So
I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
My encounters with my friends and stuff. If I'll be there for like 2 hours, it turns into like 6 hours. I get very comfortable.
No, yeah. And I think I don't have any tips, but things that have worked for me with time management is just making sure I take the time to do all the stuff I love to do in a certain amount of time. And obviously, if I stay in a zone or whatever, I'll obviously stay there. But I think because I do music, video stuff, photography, videography, trying to work on composing stuff for whatever, like I try to make sure that I take the time to do it all. It can be 10 minutes, it can be 5 minutes, it can be 30 minutes, it can be an hour, but that's because I have a lot of free time. But you are a husband and a father, so it's like
man from the family pretty much.
So it's like
everybody else is like they ain't got time to be building anything.
And I definitely understand that, but please, I do want to say, don't forget who you are and what you love to do as well. Because what you put out into the universe, people, take that, because like someone wants to watch you build a deck or cook some food. Like people want to watch you do that. And I think the more you understand your impact and how you carry yourself affects other people, it'll double back down on you to understand, like, wow, like I do love to do this, I do need to do this for my family, for my friends, and that's something that I try to do with this, as well as like I see the change in people's hearts and people's minds on how they view communication, because it's like, wow, I didn't think to ask my mom that, my sister that, my dad that.
You too.
Yeah.
So you're doing with your family and everything.
Yeah.
I watched a couple of your videos as well. So
I appreciate it.
Like, yo, you got some stuff going on. I like it. I like what you're doing.
I really appreciate it. But yeah, just don't forget what you love to do as well, because what you love to do is very important.
Thanks, man.
Going into question number 5. Yeah, number 5. What fears did you have being married into our family? As we start to grow as a whole, some people may view. Okay. Let me. I'm going to try to break it down because how I said it how it was in my head. So, what fears did you have being married into our family? Our family, we're starting to grow as a whole. Some people may view us as judgmental, or maybe even thinking that, we're always right, conceited. With the dynamic of your family and your wife's family, us, did you think that we would blend together?
Actually, I was really kind of stoked on that too when we got married, because our families are very different.
Very different. Your
family, they'll like get together and play board games and like play Monopoly and stuff. And my family, they just show up and eat. So and talk. They eat and talk, and then they just chill. So for me, it was I didn't want to leave anybody out, for sure. Like I felt like your family is so big and my family is so big as well. So I didn't want to like feel like I'm not showing up whenever Tanisha's got something going over here in Springfield, or something's going on in Cleveland or Atlanta or whatever. So for me, I just wanted to focus on the people when I'm there, as opposed to just kind of like taking on too much at one time,
And I feel like that is a great word, is focusing on people while you're there, because there is a lot of lost time when you do have families, you have jobs and all that stuff, and like we really don't, like you said, life is short. We really don't really understand the small time you have together, because something that I'm trying to get I guess over is moments. I don't want to believe in moments anymore, because I feel like that's the type of time we've created now in society, are moments. So like when you go places, people are like, oh, you remember that time when we blah 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 blah. I would like to think about it as a whole, when we got there, what we were wearing, all that stuff, because those are things that you hold on to for the longest time. And I just love memories of family and love and together and all that stuff. And I feel like it's also very interesting with like people who are married into our family. They usually come from a family background that aren't interactive. Because even though you did say they do sit and eat, but you said we do board games and all that stuff. What stuff?
Like race.
Everything you can think of.
Racing on the
street,
ever.
What things do you wish that our family did that you can take back and explore to your family? Or vice versa. Actually, you can answer that both ways. You can answer.
I'd like to see more family trips, just traveling, getting out and having like real experiences besides just going over grandma's house and having that Sunday dinner, that kind of thing. I would like to see my family pray more and focus on our religion more. We have a very strong religious family, but it's more an individual's relation with God, which is cool, But I like to see that happen as well. Yeah,
and that's something that I'm actively doing myself as well, is creating a personal relationship with God. Because like growing up, it wasn't forced. Let's just say it was forced. I don't know. Let's say it was forced.
Ours was never forced.
Yeah, I think ours was forced because everyone had to have a type of character, because we went to church, we went to Bible class, we went to Bible study. So it's like,
how did that affect everything for you? Like
for me, it affected me in a negative way, because younger, I had a personal relationship with God, so I was connected. He would show me things, he would show me visions, he would show me stuff, and then when I felt like I had to do it for my family, then it took me away. So kind of now I'm understanding him again through a personal level, because God is all, so you can't put God in a box and be like, this is the way to learn God, this is how you learn God, this is how he is.
That's my family.
We're
not very we're so open to how we
I'm not gonna say my family wasn't like that, but they in a sense weren't, because everything had to go by the book, blah 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 blah. But then once you really just start understanding that God is all, he doesn't communicate to you how he communicates to me. He doesn't show you stuff, how he shows me stuff. So
Exactly,
it's like you really have to understand that personal connection. Now, where it comes together is prayer. Where it comes together is support. So it's like I really do wish that our family would do that more. Is prayer and support each other through our own connection with God. And that's so great to hear that your family was just open about it.
Yes,
because it's like a lot of people aren't like that, and that's what steers people away from God, is because of like forcing stuff in their face, and if you don't do this, you're going to hell and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah. So it's like,
I actually still go to the church I grew up in as a kid.
Really?
Not all the time, but I still, the church I was in from like before I had like memories, and I have like really old memories, like from like
wow,
I remember being 2. I remember when I was 2. I remember when I was 3 and 4. I remember my 4th birthday party, that kind of thing.
Wow. And like has the church, I mean, because you've been to the same church, but like you see how church culture is, has church culture changed in your church?
It definitely has. It's gotten older. So the only thing for me is my family's relationship with church has been phenomenal, but I've noticed with my church, it's aged a lot, and it's more of a retirement church now.
Okay,
so it was, when I was a kid, we had a lot of kids running around. We had like youth events. We had picnics and stuff. So I had a lot of fond memories with church. So when I go there now, we have another church that we go to, but when I go back to my home church, it's just old faces and stuff like that, and funerals for the most part. So it's kind of sad, but
very depressing.
Very, very depressing. Yeah. So that's another thing too. Me and Tanisha talk about is we both have different aspects or understandings of like life. She's never really been to a funeral before.
I've been to one, but I don't really remember it.
She said you guys don't do funerals too much.
Nah, man. Yeah. But I think it's because of like we are all we had our entire life. So like we don't know what loss is like. Yeah. We don't know what grief is like. I mean, that's all I can really say about that. But as far as like church, that's something that I'm still fighting myself with, just because of how it was approached to me when I was younger. And really, because I always felt like pastors and evangelists, like they can only speak from a sense where it's their perspective. I feel like God does send people to send a message through someone to say it to us, but I feel like the churches I've been to personally, the pastor, preacher, whatever, is only coming from their perspective. So it's like, well, what you're saying doesn't apply to me. But then I feel like, in a sense, that maybe that's selfish on my end, because it's like, well, I could still use that and apply it. Yeah. So it's like, there's that dynamic. But I'm still praying on that. But
I see that in the family. I see that. I was like, me and my wife were trying to pick a church because we were trying to get out the retirement church for a little bit. Get some more, people in the church are like our age.
Yeah, because I feel like there's so much more to explore. And like I hate to say that with the vast
variety,
not variety, like age difference between young and old, like we're not able to come to a common ground. So it's either your way, or nothing. So it's like I'm trying to find that.
My church has World War II vets.
Let's pray right now, people. No, but like I
literally have a World War II vet in my church,
bro. Heck,
yeah,
no.
He's still kicking, him and his wife. I see
that's what's up,
like
though.
Marks and stuff. Yeah,
man. But yeah, just everyone just pray about all that stuff. Wow. Last question. Question number 6.
Let's do it.
How well do you treat your mental health? With black men, we have the stigma of not opening up to each other and being vulnerable. Are you vulnerable with your friends or family, and do you express to them that it's a good practice to do as well?
I would say, okay, so you remember earlier we were talking about how people saw I was arrogant?
Yes.
So for me, I kind of ignored it in the beginning, and as time went on, my friends would open up to me about different things that had going on in their lives and stuff, and it made it more so understanding for me. I was ignoring a lot of things I had to deal with too, and I was like, man, I need to really focus on like my mental, because I've had a lot of people pass in my life. So like with the older church, I've been to a lot of funerals. I go to funerals all the time, and I haven't really dealt with that when I was coming up, and I needed that. With my friends, they were having talks about suicide and that kind of thing. I know it's YouTube. I don't want to talk about that too much, but
man, this is such a man. You say whatever you want.
I'm like checking what I say.
No. Say whatever you want.
I don't want to get you a demonetized.
Say whatever you. I'm not even getting paid yet. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. So for me, it was a lot of death and suicide and crazy things people would deal with, and they always came to me because they kind of see me as a solid person, and I'll talk to them about that. And when I get done with the conversation, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't dealt with that yet. And I'm trying to answer things and answer people's questions they have about, what they're dealing with. And I'm literally just like, well, what you should do is this. You should get help or something, but I don't know what that looks like or what happens when you get that help or, what should you expect the process to look like.
So is that something that you currently need? Like therapy or help?
No. Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Answer both. I didn't mean for my face to change your answer.
No. It's cool. It's cool. So yes and no. I feel like everybody needs therapy, and I think that everybody needs to have some help sorting through their own issues.
But specific to you.
But for me, I feel like I've dealt with a lot of them because for me, as an only child, I get to watch other people go through things, and I would analyze other people and look at how they're dealing with things and say, is that a healthy way of doing it? And if I can weigh that to myself, then I'm like self-therapizing,
Yeah,
like
and
self-therapy.
So I agree. Well, let me let you finish
I was
first.
with your mom, and she was talking about her thing.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm kind of like that too, a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's problematic in a way, but I'm not about to attack you. But what I do want to say is, so you have brought up a lot about how you analyze other people, but you forget everybody else. Forget everybody. You. How comfortable are you with yourself? Because you said that your friends have told you that you were conceited and all that stuff, and that you kind of got stuff from other people. But when it's all said and done, when you're in a room by yourself, are you comfortable with Thomas?
I would say so. Yeah. There are times when I have to look at myself and say, you know what, you did the wrong thing, or but I'm pretty good at reflecting myself and looking at myself and saying, hey, I got to hold myself accountable for things, and I am my biggest critic. So, if anything, I would say I should be less hard on myself if I had to, look at certain things. But I see myself as a fair person, I think, So I feel like I'm doing okay, and from what I see other people going through, which is a bad thing, comparing yourself to other people's problems and then minimizing your own problems.
You're right, because it's where's that common ground at?
Then you forget about yourself sometimes. So
exactly.
Like I said, there's a balance that has to be struck between those two things, but I think I'm doing well, and I would go to therapy with my wife or whatever, or just self therapy in general, just to kind of work on things. But honestly, I feel like I'm doing well. And I'm dealing with things well.
And what you don't have to go super deep, but what things do you feel that you would go to therapy for? Just you related. Like, you don't have to talk about the stuff with you and your wife, but just you related. Yeah. Like what would you go to therapy for? Like, obviously to express or whatever, but what would you actively seek in therapy for you to feel like it was being fulfilled to you?
Just self-actualization. Just looking at yourself as more than just like, right or wrong or whatever, and just really just loving yourself in a better way, Yeah. I think for me, because my love language is doing things for the people, I don't do a lot of stuff for myself. So for me, I'm either just sitting at home chilling, doing nothing, or I'm doing something for somebody else, mostly, So I think for me, it's taking that time to go on a vacation, and taking that time to go fishing or something, or do something that is just for me, but not just me sitting down in the house doing nothing. And I think with like COVID, I stopped working out and stuff like that too. So for me, it's just that loving myself more.
Okay, so those are all the questions that I have, Mr. Thomas. This is the time where I usually give the interviewee a chance to ask me any question, one question only. So if you have a question, you may ask at this time.
What is your idea of your perfect like end game thing? Like when you achieve everything you want to achieve, and you've worked on all the things that you find are your your specialties, your goals, or whatever? What does that look like for you?
So I think like some people, they look for legacy, and that's something that I've never believed in personally, because it's like, I'm not saying that I don't want to be remembered, but I want to know that my life has an impact now, that my life has an impact in the future. And what do I see myself doing as my highest self? I've always wanted to do an annual something in my hometown. A lot of people have, whatever, but it's never annual. It doesn't happen every year. It happens a year, there's support for it, and then next year it's dead. So it's like, that's something that I really want to give back to my community, is an annual something. And I actually do have something, but I'm not going to talk about it because that's future.
I was going to follow up with that question.
Yeah. I mean, no. Actually, no. I'll say it. So one thing I'm looking forward to in the next couple of years, when I'm able to have a bigger following and a bigger network, is having my own festival. So bringing, artists, content creators to Springfield, and having, people come to whatever. And I would love to have a 3-day festival. The first day would be like music and food. Second day, I'm calling it a community crawl. So like, how people do bar crawls, but a community crawl would be, you see all this local,
like the local businesses.
Local businesses. We walk around, see what's available, see what people help with.
It's actually really
and then I would also have a forum with like the city school districts and all that stuff, to really understand, how can my network, what can I bring to the table for us to build the education system back up. Not saying that it's dead, but just build it up. So and then also on that day would be like, a day of games or whatever with the community. The last day would be like an all-star basketball game with a whole bunch of content creators, have like small challenges, whatever, and like, do meet and greets and all that stuff. But that's what I really want to work on in the future, is putting on an annual festival, 3-day festival every year, so that people, children, and also do a backpack giveaways. That's also what I want to do on my the last day, but whatever. I want a lot going on. Yeah. I have this all. I have this all mapped up. Yeah. I have this all mapped out. But yeah, so me having a festival is something that I really wanted to do as my end game. Getting there, I really just want to grow my production. Like I want to get better at the small details of video production, lighting, audio. Like I want to have my own space, so I don't have to feel like I'm doing it out of someone's house. And I want it to be more personal, and just perfecting my craft and really understanding God. I mean, you may not understand God as a whole, but I want to understand. I want to understand God to the best of my ability, and I want Him to guide me through everything that I'm doing. Because without Him, I have nothing. I am nothing. Yeah. So it's like I want Him to use my gift to inspire people to do more. Because like it's very important for me to be the person I am, so I can impact people who look just like me. It was very hard for me growing up because I was predominantly in a white neighborhood, in a white school. So it's like, they have the resources, and not saying that we don't have the resources, but it's never exemplified well. So it's like, I want to be a positive example. I want to be a positive exposure to people who look like me, and have them know that, sports and entertainment aren't the only things you have to do to make it in life, or to feel like you are fulfilled in life. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, a cop. Like, let's get into those systems where they knock us down. Because, once we figure out that we can build together as a black community, they're in trouble. Because now we know unity. Now we know how to support each other. Now we're not killing each other. So that's something that I really want to do later on in life, is just be a big impact and influence, and have people kind of follow my model, because again, that's really what it is.
That's good, man.
All right. Yeah. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for sitting on the lovely couch today. You will be episode 18. Wow,
18.
we're
That's crazy.
deep in this mug. Yeah, we're super deep. So thank you for being here, guys.
Like and subscribe.
I appreciate it. It is Zion and Thomas, and we are out. With you being married for 13 years, which is the longest marriage in our family, what challenges do you face as a husband and as a father? With some of your siblings not being married, do you think your marriage gives them inspiration?